Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Saturday, the 5th of October 2024, the year of 1,000,000 transactions per second or more. Experience the best of both worlds today at betbitcoinsv.com, the best casino and sports betting on chain. Have a little flutter in private using the original protocol and genuine Bitcoin. Right, let's get into it. So a few things just to go over today. Probably going to take a while, but I just want to read through it just because I haven't read through them yet. We've got this article by Forex Live saying a Bitcoin creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, has been identified, will be revealed in a TV show. Oh dear, honestly. When you know, all you can do is laugh. That's hilarious. Then we've got this article that Gavin Mail went through literally just the other day, but I didn't get time to see it myself, so I'm actually going to read through it just because I think it's going to be bloody interesting, as Satoshi would probably say. Then we've just got a few other points here from Craig posting, which we'll have a look at. 365 days of Bitcoin history. We're back at the beginning again. Amazing. Then we'll just have a look at a few whale alerts coming through, and that'll be the end of the show. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1,000,000 strong, and transactions flying free. Just wait for the Terra node, you'll surely see.
Alright then, here we go. So this is by Forex Live. And they have said, a Bitcoin creator, Satoshi Nakamoto, has been identified. Really? Will be revealed in a TV show. I mean, I wonder what evidence they're actually going to present. Apart from people going, oh yeah, it's Adam Back, or it's like, Les, whatever his name was. Do you have any evidence? I absolutely doubt it. Unless they point the finger at Craig. So let's just see what they say here. Reveal is next week. And in the lead up, around $15 million has been drained from a number of high value wallets from the Satoshi era. Well, it's not going to be this guy that passed away then, is it? If they've just been activated. Activated for the first time since 2009. Sounds to me like they're shitting it, actually. A TV documentary maker has said he has found Satoshi Nakamoto's identity, which is the fake name used by the creator of Bitcoin. Well, it's a pseudonymous name, seriously? The name will be revealed in a new HBO documentary set to air Wednesday, October 9th at 9 p.m. US Eastern Time. So they've said here, intriguingly, as the date for the airing of the documentary has drawn near, a number of high-value wallets from the Satoshi era have become active for the first time since 2009. According to Bitcoin Magazine, around 250 Bitcoins worth approximately $15 million at today's Bitcoin rate of $60,754 to the dollar were drained from wallets in the past 2 weeks. We'll see if we can find them in whale alerts then and see where they've gone. While the coins are not officially linked to wallets used by Satoshi Nakamoto, they have been dormant since the earliest days of Bitcoin, when the cryptocurrency was worth almost nothing. The wallet's creators would certainly have been Satoshi's earliest collaborators. And then we've got a picture of the Wizard of Oz there, like peering behind the curtain. Right, most popular, JP Morgan now. Alright. Is that it? Oh, it's only a little article there. Right, so they seem to be blowing their loads about this new HBO documentary that's coming up, but we'll have a look at those, see if we can find them in whale alerts. Right then, check this out. So by Ramon Quasida, titled 2005 First Known Satoshi Nakamoto Sighting, Joseph Van Perling. I wonder if there's an actual date to this, because I could do with adding this to my 365 days of Bitcoin history. So let's see what's going on here. First known Satoshi Nakamoto sighting. So I'm presuming that's the day of the article, not actually when it was. 4th of April 2016. Alright then. What's that? So what the heck? So that was 2005. Oh, 29th. 29th of July 2005. Holy shit. Wow. So obviously Bitcoin white paper released 31st of October 2008. So this was at What the Hack in 2005 on the 29th of July. Oh, this is juicy stuff already. We haven't even started. Right, let's see what this says then. What the Hack? That was the name of the event. When the Titan Prometheus offered his human the fire, I saw the heat. I knew that heat wouldn't burn away my life. I love my life and did not want it burnt. I loved that life. I watched my son grow up. I love the most wonderful woman. I raised Aplasia in Malibu. Sorry about murdering the name there. I mined and minted Bitcoin and precious metals. Now I am left with the debt owed to those who did carry that great burden of fire that I did not accept voluntarily 11 long years ago. I have the years of interest as past due payments to those whose lives were burned instead of mine. I will always be grateful to those few, the Satoshis. To start, it is important to explain my perspective on the matter before us. I do not want the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto to become known against his consent. This would be wrong and a personal betrayal of a confidential conversation and would bad for Bitcoin. Individual personalities are dissected in the media and dehumanized. The media will make much ado about all of the personal trivia information and exploit every human flaw. Issues such as who they are dating, what kind of underwear they prefer, and all manner of nonsense would detract from the work that is done and to be done yet. A legend is greater than any human can be, and revealing identity can only damage the project. He is who he is. He is Zen warrior, a samurai of truth, yet some truths die. As a human, he may be more like Tesla than Jobs or Musk. He is seen as a heretic in this time, and likely as a genius by any standards of the future. Like Newton, I hope he will live long enough to see the future and be recognised for his genius, if I have anything to do about it. However, as a servant of truth, this event must be recorded. All right, and there we go. What the Hack? 29th of July to 2005. Brilliant. I've been attending the Netherlands Quadrennial Hacking Conference since HIP 97. In between speeches at the 2005 What the Hack event during a rare period without much rain, I went out to grab a free toasty, which were given out with a free anonymous domain registration at a pathside cart at this hacker festival in Limpt. I had been putting my video camera to use, grabbing some random shots of the tents and environment, the people. Whilst doing this, I noticed what looked like an interesting conversation in progress between a few people, and I thought of joining it, but it seemed to be winding down, so I took a few shots of the group. After they finished talking, one of the group walked up to me. He did not appear to have known the others to whom he was talking. He was a dark-haired man with a backpack, probably a graduate student. As he was too old to be undergraduate, we struck up a conversation. We greeted each other and he asked in a sort of casual, non-nonsense manner if I'd been to one of these conferences before. He hadn't and was looking to find his way to what he would find interesting. I was happy to help since I had been to 2 of them previously in the Netherlands and was familiar with the way these conferences worked. So I told him now in 1997 I came on what was our honeymoon, and I shared the story of my online marriage with a little bit of pride. I had also been at the HOW 2001 conference, and I mentioned my work on the electric car leading up to that. He asked what I did, and I told him of my work for iPhonet and then the acquisition by BT. He asked if I would like to hear what he was working on, and of course I thought I should listen to what he had to say. His stature and soft but confident voice was both kind and authoritative, and he used a sort of Socratic method. Oh, would you a Socratic method? No way. I wonder who talks about Socrates these days. To find the level at which we could communicate the technical aspects of what he was about to describe. Though he seemed a little bit younger than I was, he had a depth of knowledge about his field that I recognised as characteristics of someone with a deep interest in the subject matter. I assessed that he was probably a graduate student or postdoc somewhere because of the backpack and attire. His speaking was the polished and directly precise speech characteristic of intelligent people, and the notebook he pulled from the backpack was the sort you might find in a university, though not one in the USA. He struck me as a researcher of some sort. He spoke calmly with confidence and excelled and an excellent accented English. He seemed continental in style, but not entirely comfortable, and he had the UK diction, well, it's dictionary, but there was another accent beneath that, not British but similar. Probably Australian, as we know now. As we were talking, the sun was a bit hot, and while there was a breeze, the direct sunlight can be punishing, and as there was a little shade to be had, I made it my practice to stand in the sunshine so that my hat would provide some shadow for his head. Given the time of the day and the season and the location, I could very likely determine his exact height if I were indicated to do so. It seemed a bit of a trade-off for him. Standing in the shade of my hat put me within his personal space, and I could feel a bit of tension, as if he wanted to step back to a more comfortable distance from him, but would then be looking into the sun. After a few such encroachments, he chose the comfort of the shades of my shade of my head provided over the discomfort of standing in close proximity. I noticed that his personal space and talking comfort range was quite a bit larger than my own. He began the discussion by pointing out that credit cards were designed before the internet and that they were in need of an update or replacement for use on the internet, and that they were not well suited for all of this purpose. The main change that he thought was needed was removing the counterparties and third-party trust required by making the money source distributed and peer-to-peer, and with his solution, many other benefits may follow. So this looks like it's taken at the conference, 29th July 2005 tour. Anonymous Communications for the United States Department of Defense and you. Roger Dellingdine, Free Haven Project, Electronic Frontier Foundation. He mentioned that the sorts of applications were very resilient and difficult to stop citing the differences between Napster and Gnutella and Tor. This had my attention. I was familiar with the other projects using a similar method to secure messaging, where the message part was broken up and distributed, and I mentioned this to him along with citing my background in messaging, and he said it was nothing like that really, and he continued on with his questions of my understanding of the basic principles. He did not quite interrupt me, but was clearly eager to discuss his project without too much interruption. I saw he knew that I was following and interested, but that he was going to have to explain the elements to me. There's another image here that says get the code, run a node, or just surf the web anonymously. Current code freely available, free software license, comes with a specification and a JAP team in Dresden, implemented a compatible Tor client in Java, chosen and the anonymity lawyer for EU Prime Project, design paper system spec code, see the list of current nodes, etc. He asked if I knew any cryptography, and I admitted that I did know a good bit about it. He then asked if I knew about elliptic curve cryptography, and I responded that I was familiar with it, such as it used in PGP, but would like to hear how he was applying it. He took this as a clue to launch into a brief description of elliptic curve cryptography fundamentals, and he displayed a very good understanding of not just how it worked, but also what it could do, as though he had lectured on the subject. I chimed in with acknowledgement of understanding and some of the underpinning mathematics, so as to let him know that we could skip the mathematical lecture. I mentioned that I'd worked with some noteworthy cryptographers in the US, and he said, "Oh, you're from the United States. Then you know of Liberty Dollar?" I told him that I didn't, and he said that it was an alternative currency based on precious metals, which reminded me that I had read something about it in one of my coin journals, that I might even have a piece or two. I wanted to bring that up, but I could tell he wanted to get back to talking about his project, and so I wanted to hear more about that, so I moved on. Then he asked me if I'd ever heard of blockchain. I said yes, thinking that he meant block cipher. He didn't seem to believe that I was, and so he started describing it. And at that point, I admitted my confusing the term, and that I'd never heard of this. He then went into a fairly detailed description of the way a hashing algorithm could be used to add information to a continuously growing appended only file by hashing the new block along with the hash of the old block, and that's how this could be done competitively in a distributed fashion, creating a proof of work method so that whichever system found the best hash would send this out to all the others, and that this was a proposed solution to the Byzantine general's problem, which he also described to me. He started talking about Merkle trees and hashing, but only briefly, as he could see that my mind was moving on to the greater applications of what he was working on. It was potentially disruptive on a massive scale. It could change and improve just about everything in human interactions on the internet. By this time, I'd realised that I wasn't talking to a random kook, but a genius, and one who had thought this through in some great detail. And this was pretty seriously interesting stuff. What he was working on was truly amazing, revolutionary, and I started to get a bit animated and excited. I asked him if he realised how incredible this was and the impact it would have on the world. I was very much excited at this point. He kept his demeanour more calm than mine, but there was a bit of a smile on his face and a twinkle in his eye as he could see the effect he was having on me as the implications were becoming more and more clear. Wow. Amazing. He went on to explain that the currency could be awarded to the people running these servers that were doing the calculations to create the blockchain, and that this could be distributed among them over years. He suggested that it could be on discrete amounts over time by halves and would asymptomatically be limited. This would provide a finite cap on the amount of inflation, but which it would approach in ever smaller increments over time. This schedule would be part of the code, and it would not be changeable without leaving the group of those doing the calculations and being off the chain and on a new one. These rewards to those calculating the blocks would be sent to a public key associated with the private key of the elliptic curve cryptographic method. These coins, he called them coins for lack of a better word, could be sent to anyone and exchanged, and these transactions would be reported to the servers securing the blockchain. I was pretty blown away by this. I told him that I thought that this was incredible and revolutionary, and that I thought that the libertarians would love it, and that the Federal Reserve and the central banks were going to hate it. He gave a bit of a smile at this, but said nothing about that at all. He asked me who the libertarians were, and I explained that they were a political group in the US that seeks to limit government. I thought at the time this guy was pretty reserved because he was very clear, enjoying my excitement, but not getting very emotional about it otherwise. I asked some high-level questions of him to get a sense of the scope of the project and his depth of work on it. For example, would this be able to GAAP compliant? And he responded that those would be possible but would be outside the protocol. The protocol was for the money itself, and such things as compliance regimes would change, and in order to avoid any need for the protocol to do so, additional software could be written to interface with any of the various standards. I agreed and then mentioned a few other standards and how our company, Infonet and BT, was global and sympathized with the many standards across the various geographies. It made sense, and I was impressed by the depth of thinking and analysis of what he had designed. Furthermore, I recognised that he had all the fundamental pieces that could lead this to completion without getting wrapped up in the scope, creep or distractions. This is not an idle endeavour. This is a worthy project indeed. He told me that he was looking for a programmer to help with writing the code for the client software and asked me if I would do so. I felt that this was a weighty decision, and although I greatly wanted to help and be part of this, there are others that could do a better job of coding it, or even better than he could learn the coding needed to get it to a test phase himself, since he was familiar with CI, recommended Visual C, and for him to do it. He looked a bit surprised at this because by the things I was saying to him, this project was clearly very much something that provoked passion in my mind and was an effort close to my heart. So he asked me why I wouldn't help him at that time. I told him that my company had just gone through a merger, but more importantly, I had a young child and a family and would certainly need to protect them. This would be the sort of thing where I would have to work separately and secretly and would not want to expose them. I told him that I could not do what he is doing, referring to the extreme privacy he was keeping in the discussion. I was revealing quite a lot about myself, and he took great pains to reveal nothing about himself. He could not know that I was a trained observer and how much I could glean from the short time we were together. That seemed to make sense to him, and he asked if I knew where he might find folks that would work on it. The project was also right down the alley of a group that I'd been involved with and was watching called the Cypherpunks, and that there were some of them at the conference, including some of the founders. I'd seen a tent of theirs earlier and pointed that way towards it. He asked what the cypherpunks were. I told him that the cypherpunks were programmers, but not just programmers. They were particularly very well suited to work on this sort of thing. Privacy and automating the models of authority and automating the modes of authority, regulating these to mathematics rather than central authorities. I hoped that he would discover someone better suited than I for what he needed. I understood the stakes and the requirements for a Randian hero, unattached to personal social encumbrances. The radical individualism was not something I could accomplish without sacrificing my marriage and family, for they would be endangered. My life situation would not permit me to put those most close to me at risk. Someone better must and would be found. Oh, look at that. How cool is that? Renegade tents of cypherpunks and all that. As he turned to walk away, I called him and said, "Wait, I would like very much to work on this later when the project has progressed more. How would I be able to find it? What's the project called?" He paused. This seemed to trigger a thought in his head, which appeared to me as a trust evaluation, and though was clear to me that he had a project name in mind, but that was reluctant to say it. This man was clearly good at keeping things secret, and I respected that quite a lot. I'm no stranger to getting people to reveal their secrets, but I wasn't going to let him go away without something to use as a reference. How else would I be able to fulfill my promised involvement? I surmised that possibly domains hadn't been registered or something, and he didn't want to say. I then asked him if I could take the paper. He had drawn the diagrams of the blockchain and mining network, and he said no. So I asked if I could take the pictures of it, and he again said no. So I asked him how I would know this project from other similar efforts, and that is when he told me to look for him. Satoshi Nakamoto! Satoshi Nakamoto! Awesome! I'd never heard this before, and indeed perhaps no one had in 2005, and it seemed not to match at all with the person to whom I was speaking, so I asked him to repeat it, which he did. Satoshi Nakamoto. At that point, I let him walk away across the hard packed and recently dried dirt and sprouts of grass struggling to take back the terrain. I thought about taking a few more pictures of him as he walked away to help me remember something that felt momentous. Instead, I returned to my campsite and wrote down what I remembered of the conversation, including the name on the bottom of the paper, Satoshi Nakamoto, as well as what I could reproduce of what he had drawn on his notebook paper. The diagram of the blockchain, Merkle tree, fees to miners, miner reward halvings, finite coins, and mining network. I realised that with what I knew from the system and method architecture that he had described to me, that I could then have done the project independently, but I was confident that a better path was ahead for me and that my time to be helpful would come later. I would like to think that my encouragement and what little advice and feedback I gave in those early days were helpful and meaningful to him, and that I played some small early role in making what was eventually to become Bitcoin come to fruition. First known Satoshi Nakamoto sighting. Wow, awesome. Here we go. And there's a link. There's a link to this article. Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. What's this in Bitcoin magazine? Yet 4 notable men. Is there a date on this? So they've written here in this article, yet 4 notable men in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space still believe Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto, or leader of a team called Satoshi Nakamoto. That also included the now deceased Dave Kleiman, Bitcoin's former lead developer Gavin Andresen, and former Bitcoin Foundation director John Matonis met Wright over the past weeks, and among other things, believed to have seen a cryptographic proof. Digital currency veteran and R3 architect Ian Grigg has been publicly backing Wright's claim too. The fourth source maintaining that Wright is the man behind the alias Satoshi Nakamoto is New Liberty Dollar issuer Joseph Van Perling. Van Perling says he met Wright at a conference in Amsterdam 3 years before the publication of the white paper, and that Wright introduced himself as Satoshi Nakamoto at the time. This is not a new story. Van Perling has been saying he met Satoshi Nakamoto for years. Oh, I mean, what? That is massive. That is absolutely massive. Like, what? Like, literally, David Kleiman, who created the Tulip Trust, Gavin and Jason and John Matonis, who are co-founders of the Bitcoin Foundation, and Ian Grigg, the R3 architect, which was the triple entry accounting. And now Joseph Van Perling, who said he met Craig Wright, who introduced himself as Satoshi Nakamoto in 2005. Oh my goodness. This is just absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. When you know the shenanigans that have gone on and then you read something like this. Like, what on earth? Good grief. Good grief. Anyway, I'm glad I read that. That is massive. That is massive. Good grief. Good grief. Right, let's just crack on with a few funny bits here. So, Dr. David Carlin had said here, when the earpiece stops working. So let's see what this is all about. This sounds really funny. Put that up.
Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election. So 32 days. 32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. We got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it. And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead.
Oh my gosh, she's just repeating herself over and over when the earpiece stopped working. That is hilarious. That's hilarious. Crypto Tweaks also posted here. In 2014, the email between Wei Dai and Satoshi Nakamoto was published, and they were quoted in the Sunday Times article. So that's the 2nd of March 2014. Check this out. So this is an email from Satoshi Nakamoto using the anonymousspeech.com email system. Friday, August 22nd, 2008. So it looks like Craig has written here, said, I was very interested to read your B-Money page. I'm getting ready to release a paper that expands on your ideas into a complete working system. Adam Back, #.org, noticed the similarities and pointed me to your site. I need to find out the year of publication of your B-Money page for the citation in my paper. It'll look like, and then he's got the citation there. And then he said, you can download the pre-release draft at upload.ae file 6157 eCache PDF. Feel free to forward it to anyone else you think would be interested. Title, Electronic Cash Without a Trusted Third Party. Wow, that is fantastic. Loving all this history. Like, that's going to have to go into 365 days big on history. Let's look at this post here. So CSW has written, let us then examine the true nature of entities like Unspecified Patents LLC, that's limited liability something, and COPA through the lens of reason, not deception. These organisations cloak themselves in the rhetoric of justice, all while perpetuating an insidious game that serves not the innovator, but the corporate giants that feed off the ideas of others. They masquerade as defendants of intellectual property, but what they are, in essence, is the antithesis of that. They stand not for the mind that creates, but for the bureaucracy that seeks to enslave it. And that was in response to CryptoQuick saying, well, it seems COPA has teamed up with Unified Patents LLC. After reading UP current activity, it seems this SV first line of the defense to ensure large corporations can keep their stolen IP. UP main defense is to find prior art and discredit the so-called NPE. So what's this? Legal and regulatory history. I'm going to read all of that. But it's highlighted here, unified patents work by selling memberships to companies that are frequently subject to patent claims. It then looks for the most problematic patents in certain industries, zones like cloud computing, and files IPRS, seeking to invalidate those patents. No way. So Cobra's teamed up with them, and that's what they do. Oh, that is outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Yeah. The corruption is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway, let's go back to 365 days of Bitcoin history. We are back at the beginning again. So on the 5th of October 2009, the first known Bitcoin price or exchange rate recorded on the 5th of October 2009 was published on what was the world's first Bitcoin exchange site, New Liberty Reserve. A site which offered a service to buy and sell Bitcoins in exchange for US dollars using PayPal. And we got the web archive here. Let's have a look at this. See if this comes up with anything. Oh. There we go. New Liberty Reserve Standards. Exchange rate. Oh, there we go. Mid-market exchange rate history. So we've got 12, 11. What's the earliest one? So that would have been, that looks like 10th of May? 10th of May 2009? Maybe that's actually the 5th of October. Maybe that's 5th of October. Yeah, 5th of October. There we go. Right, so 5th of October, where $1 equaled 1,309 BTC. Oh, can you imagine? Can you imagine? $1 got you 1,309 BTC. $1. $1. Whoa! Good grief! Good grief! And that went down. That went down. So whereas you got 1,309 BTC on the 5th of October for $1, by all right. So it looks like the price went down and then went back up again. Look at that, and you get 1,000. What's the highest one there? 1,600, 1,630. Oh, that must be the lowest price recorded here. That's the lowest one that I can see. So on the 17th of December 2009, you could get 1,630 Bitcoin for $1. Oh, jeepers. Amazing. Loving a little bit of Bitcoin history there. What else do we have on these links? A very early Bitcoin exchange of 2009 to 2011. New Liberty Reserve Standards. Alright then. And there was another one here. Oh yeah, web archive we've just looked at. Wow. Amazing. So also on the 5th of October 2009, when the BTC first had a market price, it was 0.0, so 7 cents per BTC. There were 22,957 wallet addresses belonging to an estimated 18,000 people. On that day, you could buy 1,300 BTC with $1. Good grief. Good grief. Yeah, all right. That's the little bit of Bitcoin history there. Right, let's have a look at these well alerts for these dormant wallets and see what's been going on here. Here we go. Check out this. A dormant address containing 100 BTC, $6 million, has just been activated after 10.8 years. Let's have a look. Look at this. Sender, 100 BTC transferred. And look, it's been transferred to a SegWit. It's been transferred to a SegWit wallet. So only the SegWit transaction has been spent. Ooh, exciting. Only the SegWit transaction has been spent. Look back at your history. Who said that would happen? Let's have a look. See what else we got. Dormant address. Another one, 99.9 BTC again. Sent to SegWit addresses. Oof. Oof. Let's have a look. And these are, I haven't got time to like go through all of this, but what others have we got here? Here we go, another one. Look at these again. Sent to a SegWit address 4 days ago. 4 days ago. What's happening here? Another one sent to a SegWit address. 76.99 BTC. Woohoo! Oh, all right. Be interesting to actually go through all these and collate all these together. Okay, that's just gone to Bitcoin addresses. Another one. Oh, so Bitcoin sent to 5 Bitcoin sent to a SegWit address there. What's this one? Oh no, they're just standard Bitcoin addresses. What's this one? More bitcoins sent to a SegWit address. Only the SegWit transaction has been spent. Oof. This one. Oh, what am I looking at there? What? That's Ethereum. Oh, Ethereum. Not bothered about that one. Another BTC one. 20 BTC, look, 20 SegWit transactions sent on that one. Ooh, wow, amazing. Right, there we go. Exciting stuff, peeps. Show longer than average, but I hope you enjoyed it. That was thoroughly exciting. So yeah, we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. So if you do enjoy these updates, please ding your donations for your appreciation to Satoshi at handcash.io. Much appreciated. We'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed it. As ever, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.